Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Dumbest Kid in the Room podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Butler, and I got an exciting episode for you guys today. I hope you're all doing great. I got my good friend Kyle Miller on the podcast. He is a real estate investor from the Tulsa, Oklahoma area who focuses on short-term rentals. So think of that as Airbnb, VRBO, people just coming in for a couple days in town. They need a place to stay. They want to stay at a house instead of a hotel. Kyle Miller will hook you up. This episode was very special to me just because Kyle is such a dear friend of mine. He's one of the first people. He's probably the first friend I made in real estate. I met him through Keller Williams, through our agency. He's also a licensed agent, so that's where I met him. We were in class together right at the beginning of it all. And it's funny because we both showed up to the class right on time. I don't want to say late, but we were right on time. And there was like 3 seats left at the back of the class, and he sat right next to me. And we just kicked it off from there. We just started talking. He started telling me about his rentals. At the time, he only had, I think, about like 3 or 4 rentals, and they were all long term. Just they had some tenants in place. He didn't figure anything out about short term rentals. So as I've known him, I've gotten to see him grow as an investor. So it's been really cool. We got to talk a lot about that on the podcast. And he's just a great guy. He always puts a smile on your face. Every time I'm with him and we walk in somewhere in public, he puts a smile on everybody else's face. He's a character, and he's somebody that you can't help but want to be around, So love the guy to death. I hope you guys enjoy this episode. He possibly will be a recurring character on the podcast. I'll have him come back on with some other special guests. But also watch out, we're going to be putting out some more like shorter videos on YouTube. So we're going to be doing some drive arounds around Tulsa, doing some Q&As about real estate investing and just real estate in general in the Tulsa market. So if you have any questions at all, comment down below. Whatever you want to know from me and Kyle, comment down. We'll answer all your questions when we do those drive-throughs. We're going to do some house tours of his short terms, or right now he's in the process of rehabbing one, furnishing another. He has about, I think, like 20 projects under his belt right now. He's a crazy busy guy, love him to death, and I can't wait to do more content with him. So if you have any questions for him, comment down below, because he will be a recurring character on the show as well as other videos, so be on the watch out for those. And I hope you guys are enjoying this podcast as much as I am. It's putting me outside my comfort zone quite a bit. I am not used to talking in front of the camera. Usually I'm behind the camera. I don't know if anybody knows, but I actually in high school took 2 years of multimedia design in a little tech course. I went to Tulsa Tech for half of the day during high school. So I got to learn a lot about photography and video through that. And that's where I got this idea was I had a camera laying around. I have my lights. All I had to buy was a couple mics, and we had it set up and going. So if you guys have any constructive criticism, let me hear it. I want to hear all you haters in the comments. What do you think how do you think I can make this podcast better? And just any sort of feedback, I'd love to hear it. And if you could, click that red subscribe button. That'd help me out a lot, as well as the like button. I'll push this video out to other people into the algorithm, so other people can be learning all about business and real estate. And I'm just excited to do the show even more, to trying to kick up the quality a little bit more each episode. I don't necessarily have a studio set up. I'm kind of just traveling to wherever the guest is more than anything. Like this episode, we were literally in Kyle's house. And so it still made a great episode, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. So I'm going to stop rambling on from now. So make sure you click that like button and that subscribe button, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. All right, we're live. How's it going, Kyle?
Good.
Well, thank you for coming on the podcast, man.
I'm excited to be here.
Give a good wave to the people of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and whoever's watching from wherever.
What's up? 405. How's it
405, the OKC.
Absolutely.
Got any shout outs to give to the OKC gang?
Yeah, I got a bunch. Really excited for the whole group down there. Not only Keller Williams, but Lucas Capital. and the whole VRBO group, Airbnb, short-term rental gang. I'm really excited for what's coming up this summer.
Well, I'm really excited to have you on my podcast, man. Basically, the concept of this podcast is to have people who are smarter than me on, and I'm playing the dumb person in the room, so I can learn from you. So if you want, just to kick it off, tell the people who you are and what do you do exactly?
My name is Kyle William Miller. I work the state of Oklahoma for investment, short-term rental, long-term rental, buy, sell, flip. I try to do it all real estate in the state of Oklahoma. Based mainly out of Tulsa and Oklahoma City. But we do have properties as far as Grand Lake, and we are in partnerships with the VRPO out of Louisville, Kentucky as well. So we're all over the place, really.
So how's that been going for you, the short-term rental business?
Failing as I keep going,
failing forward.
That's it. Failing and learning and getting better every day.
Yeah.
It's a job, and I'm learning that. I was very hands-on and very cheap in the beginning, and I'm finally almost 4 years in, finally getting to a place where I can kind of step back as people are able to help me, and my wife talks me into paying for help instead of trying to save all the money.
Right, because time is money.
Absolutely.
So you say you've been doing this for about 4 years now.
4 years. I, of course, started to get into real estate at the beginning of 2018 and didn't take my test till the end. Swung at it a couple times, kept missing, finally passed it, and didn't really focus on real estate until the beginning of 2019, I believe, is when I bought my very first rental.
Yeah.
And it was a long-term rental. But I did win some forced equity off the buy. Made some updates to make it worth a lot more. Did a cash out refi on it so that I could buy another property. And that's kind of how I got started.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. You're throwing around a lot of big words here that we'll definitely go deeper dive into here in a minute. But so what would you do before real estate? Tell me more about yourself, your upbringing, how you got into real estate.
Well, it was a sales job. I've kind of gravitated towards sales as I gravitated towards needing money. I originally started out selling furniture, which was a blessing in disguise. I was chasing a paycheck, and I made a very good paycheck. But after doing the math and being there for a year or two, realizing that it wasn't going to get me where I wanted to be in the long run, I started looking for ways out. And I went into kind of doing business for myself for a little while. Using mentors and trying out new things, but always staying on top of the money side of things.
Yeah.
And then landed an opportunity to get in real estate, which I was always interested in. And then moving across the country, I learned a lot how the real estate was appreciating.
Right.
And I noticed Oklahoma was still very cheap. I had some friends doing really, really well in the Oklahoma City area. And met some people, started networking for short-term rentals, and finally got the confidence to pull the trigger and spend my own money on it.
So what was that final step into real estate where you were like, screw it, I'm going to go all in? What was that final breaking point where you're done selling furniture, you're done working for yourself in the food truck business, right?
Yeah, I tried to do a little bit of food truck stuff, became more of a mechanic, and a lot of traveling, and I was just in the wrong spot to really be really successful with my group here in the Oklahoma state. So coming back here, to answer your question, I was going to sell my house that I was long-term renting out. So I thought, hey, what better way to start than with a sale?
So you were already renting out your house while you were traveling across the country, I take it?
Yes. So I knew that in order to chase my dreams, I needed to have some type of income on top of the money I had saved.
Right.
And I rented out my house, had a very small cash flow coming from that. But it was also appreciating rapidly. So I knew in the back of my mind I was still making money holding on to it. Then when I was ready to sell it, I went ahead and signed up for real estate and swung until I passed the test, got the test passed, and then I filled out my first, let's say, net to seller sheet. and I saw what I was taking home and what was being paid out, and saw how hard I'd worked, and kind of was emotionally attached to my place at the time and didn't want to let it go. Then I started exploring ways to use my equity to continue working for myself and how to make more money and duplicate what I'd done. So first thing was to get an LLC. And that's the first thing I can tell people is don't get caught up on an LLC. So many people will tell you they're about to go get it, or they're almost going to get it, or they're going to get it soon. That's the easiest part. You just pay a fee and you're in. So don't let that get hung up, stopping you from chasing your dreams. Go get the LLC. It's pretty cheap. And if you don't renew it next year, then it's over. So at least you tried. But I got an LLC.
Took the first step. The first step is always the most important because it creates momentum.
Absolutely.
I'd say.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, this podcast, I got a lot of ducks in a row that I've been waiting to get because it's forced me to, you know? So we started going to banks, doing interviews, trying to get approval for loans. And it took a lot of bank statements and questions. And we were answering them wrong in the beginning and learned how to answer them right. We ended up buying the home that we're in right now. We got a good deal on it.
It's a beautiful home, by the way.
Thank you.
We're in his little sunroom right now, and I'm looking out at the beautiful snow. It's been snowing here in Tulsa today, or the past couple of days. It didn't snow today, but it's a beautiful house. I love your deck back there.
Thank you. That's a lot of character.
And then thank you for letting me set up the whole podcast setup.
Thank you for coming by, man. We got out to Owasso that one time. My schedule just hasn't allowed to get back. So by you coming here and doing a ride along today, made it way easier on me.
All right.
Where are we at? We're talking about...
so we were talking about you going into the bank, you answering in the worst ways possible. So what was your first big lesson in real estate, do you think? That impacted you the most?
Lesson-wise, just not being afraid to fail and ask questions. It was pretty embarrassing to suit up, go into a bank, turn in a lot of information, and then ask, well, what is the HELOC for? And my response was to start my real estate company. And that wasn't necessarily the right answer to give to those people.
So for somebody going through that process today, what would you tell them?
Well, I mean, a HELOC is a home equity line of credit, which is kind of like a credit card on your home is the best way I can describe it. You can use it when you need it and pay it off when you want, and there's no recurring charges. So we applied for a HELOC on our home to do some improvements, such as the sunroom floor. They just kind of asked, how much money do you want to use? This is how much equity you have. So we told them how much we would like, and they did an appraisal on the home, made sure we had that equity in it. And we, of course, updated our bathroom and our kitchen a little bit, and our sunroom. I added a vent to this room, which didn't have it, which adds to the square footage. So when we appraised it, it appraised for quite a bit more than what we bought and put in it. So I just borrowed that money, went and bought the first home or two, and that gave me a little bit of extra money to update them and do the exact same things that we did in my own neighborhood right across the street.
That's awesome. So in order just for everybody who wants to know, in order to count the square footage of a room, it needs to have a vent and connected to the...
Right, for it to be an internal room.
Okay, gotcha.
So it has to be climate controlled.
Gotcha. That makes sense now. Okay.
Like bedrooms have to have a closet type deal.
Closet, and a window, I believe.
Right. So right here, a vent. And you can actually see it hidden behind the desk there.
Perfect.
So it's $500 to add it, but it gave me over $10,000 in instant equity. So it's an easy buy.
That's a good instant equity hack there.
Absolutely.
And close the back porch, add a vent.
That's it. Super. It really, really helped out. We love the space, and it forced a lot of equity so we could get our HELOC and really jump into the real estate.
Okay. So after you guys fixed up your house a little bit with your equity, what was your first deal? Walk me through what your first deal was. Besides, I guess you could almost count your first house as a deal. Well, since you did rent it out and you were cash flowing off of it, which is great.
Yeah, that was technically my first real estate deal. I was in real estate before I knew I was in real estate.
Exactly.
And then the next one would be a house over here by the driller. I knew if I had to have a rent home that I wanted it to be nearby if something were to go wrong. And I went ahead and pulled the trigger on one that I found that was close by. That was a really good price point.
Mm-hmm.
And we ended up getting it with our loan, which was 20% down. And
So how much was the purchase price?
I believe it was 98,000.
98,000.
I
And you
believe
guys
it was
had 20%
98,000.
down, so roughly right around 19, 20 grand.
And then with your fees and everything else, let's say 24,000 down total.
Okay. Yeah.
Bought the home, did some small improvements to that, and rented it out long term, and sat on that for a year, and searched for other homes in the neighborhood. In
So
that
how much money did you put in that house? I know you just
that
said
house,
small improvements.
just some plumbing work, and the bathroom had already been worked on. And I think we did a little bit of work maybe in the kitchen, but really just I think maybe a fresh paint job. So not really a lot of money overall. I'd say 4,000, 5,000.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and then that home.
So you long term rented it out, and then a year later, what'd you do?
A year later, I had acquired the neighboring property because the long-term tenant said, hey, the neighbor's going to move. Yeah. And we went ahead and bought it without even having to necessarily hit the market. Gave her the exact same thing, 98,000 I gave for the last house. She was more than happy with that. I think she bought it for 60 back in the day. So we purchased it. I put 12,000 in that. It was pretty bad. And so 110, 111 maybe all in.
Yeah.
We had both those homes appraised together, and they both appraised for about 150, 145 in there.
Each together. Oh, that's pretty good. From the 98,000 you put into it, plus $5 grand into the first one, 12 into the second, and then you're appraising them at 150, 145,
150.
150. That's pretty good.
Right. I did my 80-20 cash out and got, I think, 40 something back out of those two. I didn't even put that much in them.
Yeah.
So I took that check and we
ran with it.
Popped it down on another one.
Yeah. So you started in the business with long-term rentals.
I started with long-term.
What made short-term rentals so attractive to you, and what drew you to that portion of investing?
Well,
for anybody who doesn't know, short-term rental would be more like Airbnb, VRBO, more of the vacation rentals. So people who are just coming through town and want to stay maybe 3 nights,
Correct.
Versus long-term rental is got a 6-month lease, 12-month lease, stuff like that.
Short-term, I'm actually finding a lot of success in fire, flood, remodel.
Okay.
Several things, just kitchen remodels. People don't have a kitchen for a long time. So we have fully furnished rentals ready to go. By June, we'll have 20 under the umbrella in the Tulsa area.
Congrats.
Currently 5 in our little umbrella that we've got going in Oklahoma City, but we're really going to focus on that market on the next 6 to 8 months.
Going to buckle down there.
Yeah, I wanted to have a diverse portfolio for the most part. Yeah. Tulsa was treating me well, but I didn't want to put too many eggs in a basket. I've done that a lot in my life by putting eggs in a basket when I think I find a good honey hole. And I've definitely learned to kind of perfect what my goal is with these properties. And coming from a company like Quick Trip, I learned.
Shout out to Quick Trip, by the way.
Great company. Forbes are up there getting it. It was a great company to work for. I worked very hard for my money. But again, in the long run with my math, it wasn't going to get me necessarily where I wanted to go, especially not when I was that young working there.
Shout out to the dogs.
Shout out to the dogs, keeping the house safe. Hush. And Quick Trip was great. I learned a lot from there in cleanliness and customer service. And then the furniture taught me a lot more customer service, gave me a wider range of people to talk to, deeper conversations. And I got to learn a lot of design and really enjoy that side of things.
Right.
So kind of getting into the rental game, I always kind of wanted to furnish it myself and decorate it myself.
So you've been able to take some of these things you've learned through your past jobs, whether it be Quick Trip, customer service, and cleanliness, and then from your furniture job, you knew how to basically decorate an interior.
I know how to find furniture cheap. I know what to buy for short-term rental type reasons.
Yeah.
But also, absolutely, my job is a collaboration of all my jobs and all my experiences in life.
And just a little backstory, when me and Kyle first met back in a year ago, or a year and a
A
half.
little over a year.
Just
yeah.
about that. Me and him really connected because me and him both worked for Quick Trip at one point in our life. And when I had met him, I was actually still working at Quick Trip. So that's where me and him kind of hit it off. We got shared connections through there.
Yeah.
Great company.
And then Honda Civic or Honda Prelude.
Honda Prelude, yes. I drove a little Honda Civic back in the day, and he has a little Honda Prelude same year, and we both have a love for those Honda cars. They're
I'm an investor.
Great cars.
Stuff that lasts, I'm definitely going to be a part of.
Yes.
And then even throughout my livelihood of just being in sports and finding out ways to motivate people and having that experience and teamwork with them has carried me into finding people that help me in this job today.
Mm-hmm. So when you first started short-term rentals, when I first met you and you were doing almost everything yourself.
Yeah. And to kind of circle back on it.
You're a pretty frugal guy.
Yeah, you can definitely say that. I like the lost and found. There's a bunch of great deals for stuff there. I'm big on meeting people and networking, and once I meet somebody that's doing something I'm interested in, then like jumping in cold water. If you do it first, I'm more apt to probably go in. I'm not really the first guy, but if I can meet somebody that's done it or tell me a good insight on the subject, then I might jump right in. But I have to hear it or know somebody personally. So short-term rental, I first heard about it obviously on podcasts. And I had a friend that moved here that played professional indoor soccer, and he did Airbnb while he wasn't playing as an income. Mm-hmm. And he moved here from Denver and had a very successful short-term rental career off of it, and started looking into getting into Oklahoma City area on it. So I thought, well, if he's going to take the risk and has lived off of it already, then I'm going to take the risk and go ahead and try Tulsa. And
so where was he? What market was he in for his short-term rentals? Was it Colorado?
He was in Denver, Colorado.
Okay. Yeah.
And he had 3 on one property, and he rotated between them and cleaned them and did it all himself and had a very lucrative side business.
That's killer.
Yeah. So he brought it here, bought a house, bought an Airbnb cash, and started slaying down there in Oklahoma City. Yeah. So I started snagging him up in Oklahoma City as well after I saw his doing well. But because I knew him, and I also knew Steve Brown, mm-hmm. Who had got into long-term rentals, then I bit the bullet and jumped into long-term rentals because mm-hmm. he was doing it.
Yeah.
I got a HELOC because I knew he had done it. And I got approved through business loans with people that were given to me to network with. And started pulling the trigger on short terms. I opened it on Christmas last year and a half ago, mm-hmm. Right before Christmas time. And we started getting bookings in January here in Tulsa area.
Yeah.
By June, July, I realized I didn't want to do any more long terms. I only wanted to do short terms. Yeah. I started having a great return, I felt like, on my money, and really started focusing on short term, and was really going to really focus just on the Airbnb, VRBO weekend rentals. And then I started getting hit with people that were selling their homes and then building new homes and having nowhere to go in between. And that market started really doing well for me. So we're getting a lot of midterms rentals now, 2, mm-hmm. 3, 4, 5 months, fully furnished out. We actually have an 8-month one that somebody's currently in right now.
Okay.
But they'll pay fully furnished. They just got to bring a toothbrush. We take care of the yard. We take care of the mulch. We take care of the limbs. We take care of everything. So
that's nice. You're getting the same kind of rental numbers that you would just from somebody renting it for the weekend? Or do you give them slightly discount?
I give them a slight discount, definitely. Everything's negotiable, and every house is different. Everybody's situation's different.
Right.
Some people, they get in a situation, for example, like a fire or flood, they need something immediately.
Right.
And I may not have something open for a couple weeks. I may have something open for a couple days here, and then I can move you to this one that's going to be clean and ready and have mm-hmm. you here. So the prices are all different. We try to start out usually $90 to $130 a day, fully mm-hmm. furnished, just depending on how long you need them.
Yeah.
We're still open to long term.
Because rather than a long term rental where you don't actually furnish the house and take care of the lawn and stuff, you're doing all that.
Correct. Short term benefits are usually there's no deposit whatsoever. So no electric, water, gas, cable, internet. You don't have to show up and meet anybody. You don't have to worry about monthly draft bills. You don't have to worry about setting them up. You don't have to worry about paying all those for a short amount of time just to turn around and leave. So internet, cable, sign in. We have smart TVs. It's pretty much all there for you to need and use or whatever.
And like you said before, just bring a toothbrush.
Bring a toothbrush. Stay as long as you need. Just give me a heads up before you leave. And again, every contract's different, but I think it's a very lucrative business, especially with real estate. As fast as things are selling, as slow as it is to build homes with weather like this slowing everybody down. I'm very happy in the situation I'm in.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Fire, flood, divorce, even unfortunately, a lot of people need a fully furnished home for all different lengths of time.
You don't even think about that. Is people need short-term rentals even if they live in the same town.
Absolutely.
Not just for vacations and people coming in for work. It's a lot of people who, hey, something happened in their house and they need a kitchen. It's going to take 4 weeks for the restoration crew to get in there and finish it up, especially with the lack of workers that have been going on here recently. You got to wait on somebody to bid on the job or something like that, and it's going to take another 4 weeks. Hey, go hit up Kyle Miller. He's got a house for you.
Absolutely.
That you can say they're short term. That's definitely something, a whole different perspective that I didn't even think about.
Yeah, really. Man, we have people travel here for work quite often. Tulsa remote. $10,000 credit. Come here. You guys can work in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and get an incentive to move here. There's so many people traveling America's highway, Route 66, Mother Road. This is a heart of the Mother Road here in Oklahoma area, and we have so many people traveling from all over the world that pass through Tulsa, and horse shows, you name it. Tulsa Tough, bike rides, they're booking, they're coming. Ironman, people are booking. PGA, cooking shows, you'd be surprised. And family gatherings, Thanksgiving, Christmas, those things are already booked. We have the Chili Bowl in January. That's a huge one for us. Wedding showers, bachelor parties.
You already got some of your rentals booked out for Thanksgiving and Christmas this upcoming year?
Absolutely. I have the Chili Bowl already booked next year.
That's crazy.
We try to roll between 6 months and 12 months out.
Yeah.
Because ideally, the midterm, if somebody's going to come and stay for 2 or 3 months and I don't have to clean it or go inside one time, that's great.
Right.
But I'll clean it every weekend if the price is right. So it just kind of depends on what people need. And as I grow, the needs are growing and we're getting a lot of traffic in both cities right now. Matter of fact, this morning we just worked out a deal. We have people that are staying in one property, moving to another property of ours, and then coming back to finish in the original property because they needed it for such a long time frame.
So how long are they staying in all those houses?
14 days total.
14 days total. Okay.
2 at one,
right,
and then 10 I think in the middle, and then they're gonna go pick up at the end, and it may even be longer depending on because that's
negotiable,
the best part.
as you said before.
Absolutely, that's the best part right now, especially with this snow. Lumber shortages / worker shortages / constant crazy weather. We've had people that thought they were going to be in the home for 3 weeks and they're on their 4th month. So that's everybody's winning. Business. They're still happy.
Good for business, and they're comfortable.
Absolutely.
They got a fully furnished house.
And a lot of these people may have pets. Apartments aren't an option a lot of times. Hotels aren't an option a lot of times. So that's what we're doing really, really well.
So what's your policy on pets usually? Because that's something kind of controversial in the short-term rental community.
I charge $300 for a pet. You can take them for the weekend, and you can take them for as long as your rental is.
Yeah.
Pets do cause damage, usually some one way or another, whether their hair's in our furniture or rug or something. It is going to cause our cleaning crew or the next guest possibly some issues. So we have to deep clean, super clean with pets. We've had them tear up couches. We've had them pee on things, rugs, scratch up doors, break doors. So they come with some sort of chaos of some kind. We've had them pee on pillows, and we've had them pee on beds. So we try to avoid pets, but there is a pet fee. If you want to pay $300, bring your pet. I'm not going to tell you no for it, but you're going to pay for it. And I'm not.
And that kind of makes you stand out in the market is you're allowed pets, because I've heard a lot of short-term rentals not allow pets like at all.
Right, and that's really ideally how we wanted to start. But with so many service animals, and I love pets. I have pets myself. I'm not trying to discriminate against them. It's more of protecting my business.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it with my first one or two, but as we grew, I could take the risk. And also people would bring their pets and they would leave dog food or clear signs of pet hair or pet pee. And of course it wouldn't say anything. And then you're caught with, do you charge them? Do you reach back out?
Yeah.
Every situation was different. But we're getting better as we grow, and we're fixing our contracts and our fees and all that good stuff.
Getting better every day, failing forward. But listen, we're going to take a little intermission, get some water, maybe hang out with Kyle's baby for a minute. She's out there. So we'll be right back. Stay tuned. All right. We're back from break, and we're showing off some local companies, Eskimo Joe's and Rib Crib.
Local as in Oklahoma.
So shout out to Eskimo Joe's. They got really cool t-shirts and merchandise and great food. Rib Crib, he was talking about their potatoes that are really good.
They have a great loaded king spud, loaded spud.
Go check them out.
It's the best in the game.
They're good. Well, so we got to visit with Kyle's baby for a minute, Harlow. She's a very sweet little girl.
Yes.
Very sweet. So what's the transition been like since having a kid?
Oh man,
she's about 4 months old, so she's still very
4
young.
Months old. Sleep totally changed. It's a totally different gear. I used to obsess over real estate. I had all the MLS updates hit my phone as they came in the middle of the night, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. I was up looking at them. And if I liked it, I was blocking that first 8 o'clock to 8:30 window, and I was looking at it and I was putting in an offer. Now I'll wait until I wake up 6:30 in the morning with the wife and baby on average, maybe a little earlier than that, but I'll wait and get what sleep I can.
Depends what time the baby wakes you up.
Yeah, she gets up once in the middle of the night. Normally my wife does a great job taking care of her there. I usually just have to make a bottle and I get to go right back to bed. So
there you go.
We got a little routine worked out now.
Yeah, got a whole system. Got a system.
Sleep is something I'm always like, man, I'll get a nap later. I'll get a nap tomorrow. I'll get a nap this weekend, and I'm still chasing it.
Right, chasing the Z's.
But it's a blessing.
Chasing that sheep.
It's a blessing. Yeah, it's really fun.
She's
a healthy habit.
She's adorable.
Thanks.
And I'm happy for you.
Appreciate
That's something I look forward to later in life.
Yeah, get this real estate empire going and let somebody else pay for it.
Right, exactly. Well, now that we're back on the podcast talking more real estate, I wanted to talk to you about where you're at now compared to where you were 4 years ago and how different it is now that you're building a team. You're literally a crew. Like, I was riding around with you today, going house to house, meeting new contractors, new painters every stop of the way, you know, somebody doing something for you now. Like, because when you first started, you were super frugal. You did everything yourself almost, or as much as you could. To your knowledge, you did yourself just so you could save money. So, but now you're coming to the point, you got a kid, you want to spend more time with her, you want to spend more time with the wife, time is of the essence. Explain to me and how that transition has been for you, and what have been some of the struggles that you are having to overcome, and what are you doing to overcome them?
Timelines, number one, are the hardest thing in real estate. And you have to be able to adapt every day. You know, weather changes a lot, but just daily lives. Everybody's carrying a lot on their plate to work every day. So you have to be very adaptable on a daily basis in the real estate game. So yeah, I did everything myself. I was mowing 8 to 10 properties. I was cleaning all my Airbnb VRBOs.
Funny story. I was meeting up with Kyle at the office one day, and he pulled up, got out of the truck, or got out of his car, and I see his boots. He's wearing shorts, and he has boots just covered in grass. He's wearing his little sun visor, sunglasses. I'm like, Kyle, were you just mowing lawns? And he's like, yes, sir.
I was way too cheap to hire it out, and it was a good exercise. I don't like going to the gym, but I like being outdoors and getting some sun. So I didn't mind it
for you.
But 6 hours on a Saturday and 3 or 4 hours on a Sunday on my wife's time to be at home and hanging out with the kid, I was gone. And then cleaning them, a lot of the properties get cleaned Sunday, Mondays, and Tuesdays if I can't get them all done. So I was busy. I was building myself a job. And as my daughter was coming, I knew there was a time to kind of start backing out and exiting out. So I tried to time it perfectly. I was off by about 2 to 3 weeks. My daughter was born. 48 hours later, my wife and I were building furniture at a house. But that was the last house she has touched furniture wise. We did hire out help after that. And, originally we painted everything. We tiled everything. We did a lot of the demo. I didn't do much electric work. I've never touched plumbing myself. I've always hired that out. But now I'm pretty much just managing what we have, maintaining a consistency, and then growing our fleet to about 20 to open here in June.
That's awesome. So what's it like? So when we were talking earlier that you pulled a lot of strengths from other jobs, from previous jobs, such as Quick Trip and the furniture store. You also were a college soccer player, and you were team captain, correct?
Yes.
Right. So you got to bring the experience of being a team leader on a sports team and bring it over to a real estate team. How has that been? Has that been very crucial?
Hard. I love motivating people. If anybody that knows me, for the most part, I'm a lot of people's biggest fan, I think, and I take pride in that.
Oh yeah.
But it was hard in staying motivated, as in some of your best teammates maybe on the field may not be a good fit in real estate, and some of the best real estate people may not be a best fit if they're not mindsets aren't the same in real estate.
Right.
Some people are great workers in certain areas, but again, some people are good leaders only in good areas where they can lead. So some people aren't good on teams. So just building teams, keeping them together, keeping everybody happy, understanding timelines are going to change on every aspect. And, we may have something on budget and everything's going to plan and something can go crazy. And just being able to adapt to that and learning what motivates people outside of my business and keeping them happy has been quite the challenge. But I do enjoy it because I like to lead. But that was very hard.
Yeah.
Keeping everybody happily working together at a decent pace.
Without overstressing everybody.
Right. Yeah. And when we started out, this was just everybody's part-time extra thing on the side.
Right.
So some people started transitioning into doing it more full-time and wanting everybody else to jump on full-time. And real estate for some people may be fast, guns blazing out the gate, but I would say definitely take your time getting into it and learn as you go and be prepared not to just jump in full speed. Some people may not like hearing that, but I will speak my truth. And I think that you need to transition slowly into real estate as you get leads and can live off of it.
Right. Right. So how's that transition been for you personally, transitioning to real estate?
It wasn't bad because my bills were mostly paid. I was debt free.
So you
lived far below my means.
You were off on a good financial start.
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of debt. I didn't have any debt really, besides my home that was paying for itself. Right. So it really wasn't too hard. It was just more so building the trust and networking with people and kind of forming that new identity of what you're going to do. Because people know when you change jobs a lot and they think, hey, this person's going to change. And they kind of have an idea of who you are or what you do. So it's more so branding yourself, having confidence in yourself, and letting people know that this is what I'm going to do and it's not going to change.
Right. Well, that's awesome. So your real estate company, what is it called, by the way?
The Mesa Group, right up here.
This is logo up there.
Nice little.
The Mesa Group Real Estate.
Little deal my cousin, the graphic design artist, threw together for me. That is our emblem there.
I like it.
The name of our company is Mesa Group, and that is an umbrella for all the people that we help.
So why is it called the Mesa Group? Is there a reasoning behind that?
Well, we wanted something simple. My wife has some little, kind of meaning into it. She has with the Mesa in Spanish is table. And we have groups that make us possible, like legs. We couldn't be here without them. A lot of important stuff like podcasts, tables have a meaning for food and talking and sharing ideas. And Mesa is kind of built off that. It's also easy to say for the Spanish community,
right?
Which I'm fond of. And we like it short, simple, sweet. Sounded good. and we
like
both
the name.
agreed to roll with it.
So what's in the future for the Mesa Group?
I want to be.
What are some of your goals?
I want to be the largest fleet of fully furnished homes in the state of Oklahoma. I want anybody to fire, flood, work, travel, or if you just want to live somewhere and not lift a finger for the most part, you can holler at us. That's basically my goal right now. I want to get to 50 homes total. At that point, I'll probably try to improve or continue investing in my current investments to make them better. It's one thing I learned about Quick Trip in the furniture company also that I worked for, that you always want to try to innovate and stay new and stay out fresh and stay ahead of the game. And it's okay to be out front and stumble and fall as long as you're constantly trying. Right. You don't want to be behind it because somebody's always trying to beat you or do something better than you. So Quick Trip has kind of taught me
what
that.
ways are you innovating the short-term rental game? Or what ways do you plan on innovating?
Well, small things, I'm learning as we go that people like more so for short-term travel as opposed to long-term, such as like a bathtub in a house. When you're showing a house to a family or people are going to want that bathtub. A lot of times they think, my resale value, or I got to have the bathtub, or if kids come over, I got to have the bathtub. Yeah. On a short-term rental, people enjoy a walk-in shower. Your travel people sometimes are the older community, and why even risk them stepping in and out of a tub if you don't have to? Right. So stuff like walk-in showers, I think, are things that help short-term rentals. They photograph great. Fire pits, game rooms, stuff that people can do while they're here at a home that may not be at a normal home.
An activity for the family where they don't have to leave the house.
Right. Yeah.
Like a fire pit. They get to hang around the fire pit, roast some marshmallows.
Hot tubs. We'll try that eventually. We're possibly getting into hot tubs soon. We're doing pool tables now. We have like basketball hoops and starting to do tetherball poles and stuff like that.
I think tetherball is a great idea, by the way, because growing up, I loved tetherball. That was like my main game every day. During recess in the middle school, I would run out to the tetherball courts. I mean, me being kind of taller than
I was going to say,
like,
bro, I hated it.
Like, I kind of own those courts. I ain't gonna lie. But so seeing you put that in one of your short term rentals, I think is really cool, and it's cheap.
It's super cheap, man.
Pole, a rope, and a ball,
and a bag of cement, and we plan on putting those up, near the street so people can see people playing too. So I think that'll be fun. But stuff like that, everybody likes cornhole games and your smart TVs with your movie stuff. You got to have that stuff for them. So we're learning as we go. The forums are great. Get a lot of tips and advice. Stuff like electronic car chargers. People have asked about stuff like that. People like charcoal and, chopped firewood and just stuff like that. So we're learning as we go and adding them as we
I feel like that's something a lot of people don't realize about the short-term rental game versus long-term rentals is you're basically running a hotel. Yeah, long-term rental, you got this real estate asset that you just rent out more than anything.
Correct. And, I really enjoyed it. So I was doing some like lease to own so that people had to spend their own money fixing them up. And the way mine worked is you had them reappraised when you were ready to buy them. So whatever the current market rate was what you were going to buy it for. So I would gain all that in that time frame. Plus, they'd be taking care of the house. But again, your cash flow is different. Your cash flow is going to be completely different. And your short-term rental is kind of inconsistent. But overall, in my opinion, it's better than the long-term rental income, at least right now in this state. Yeah. And it's worth the risk. You have to carry a little bit different insurance. You have to pay water bills, electric bills, and that changes quite a bit. Yeah, quite a bit with weather.
Right. Yeah.
And then just people from different parts of the nation like different temperatures. So you're paying different things all times.
Right. So do you ever plan on expanding outside of Oklahoma? Because I hear a lot of people in the short-term rental game get into very popular vacation destination spots like Florida or California or Texas even. Texas has been
I'm interested in it. Here's the thing is it's very expensive out there, number one.
Very.
And I'm not saying not to invest in out-of-state stuff. Again, I am partnered with the guy in Louisville, Kentucky. But we do want to venture there. I just want to have enough cash flow here coming in that I can go wherever I want without
So you're gonna
stress.
basically perfect your game here first.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, a lot of the out of state stuff is usually a couple investors that go in on stuff, or it being so far away from me kind of scares me. I haven't had to not be somewhere and buy one, or not travel somewhere and own one yet.
All right.
But I'm interested in it.
It's definitely a different experience because you gotta put a lot of trust in your team.
A lot of trust in your team. And the thing is, though, is when you first get into real estate, it's hard not to be super emotional. You're very emotional on what the houses look like or what the outcome is going to be. But if you know it's just statistics and it's going to pay off, then your emotion can be set aside. Right. That's, I would say, the hardest part for investors is the emotional side of it.
Right.
Year to date, it's going to be a great job or a great passive opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
It may be stressful when you think you're not going to have a booking, but it'll probably pan out. So it's more just set it down, don't worry about it, and the money will come.
It will be okay in the end.
Yeah.
Well, so what do you think your biggest problem you've overcame in real estate?
Problem?
Yeah. Your most oh shit moment.
my biggest we had baby possums that were coming into a VRBO, and we were having trouble locating exactly how they were getting in and how many and all that, and preventing them and not having to kill them necessarily to get them out of there.
Yeah.
That one scared me because you don't know what your guests are going to leave.
Yeah.
I've given the wrong code late at night and had somebody really upset, and we've had power go out and heat go out, HVAC go out, plumbing bust. So we've had a lot of moments.
A lot of stressful moments.
Right.
But it's all played out in the end.
It's played out, and I've learned a lot. You know, it's amazing how hard stuff seems and how simple some stuff can be.
Right.
But yeah, most of our moments, man, I've been very fortunate and learned to tackle them and overcome them, and had properties either across the street or right down the way that we could slide them in and keep moving.
Right. That's awesome. So when you're looking for the next investment opportunity, whether for yourself or any of your investors, what's your criteria kind of look like?
My criteria is I would say it's about a 3.5, 4 square mile section I look at. I have a certain criteria, which it changes constantly. But I don't really want to, I like following the 1% rule. So anything I can purchase that I know confidently I can pull more than that, I'm not afraid to pull the trigger. Because it's in my area.
Can you explain to the people at home what that 1% rule
1% rule, yeah, to make it real easy. If you buy a house for $100,000, you want to make 1% or more basically off that property. Monthly. So if you bought a $100,000 house, you really need to be making $1,100 rent or more. If you've got $150,000 in a property, you need to be making $1,600 or more. It's pretty easy just to make sure you're definitely above what you're spending.
Right.
And that is what I kind of follow. So I know what most of the houses can average or can bring in certain areas. So if it fits the criteria, I really don't care too much how it looks. I'm going to make it look how I want and force that equity.
Okay. I like that. So where do you get your funds? Obviously, the first couple of deals were all just through bank loans and stuff. How are you structuring your business? How have you been able to scale to so many short-term rentals? How's that process been like?
So it was really hard in the beginning because everything was loans, everything was cash out refis, everything was burst strategy, everything was.
And when he says the burst strategy, it's buy, repair.
You can buy, rehab,
rent, refinance, repeat.
Yes, sir.
Correct. So basically, you go in there, you add in some sweat equity. You fix up the house. Equity. You force the appreciation, so you make the house more valuable than what it was when you buy it. You rent it out. You get some tenants in there, whether that's short term or long term, and then you do a cash out refinance. You go up to the bank. You say, "Hey, my house is now worth $200,000. I want 80% of that cash." Basically.
Yep. And keep on moving.
Yep.
I was telling people like, hey, check this out. Look at this money we're making. And people were interested. But I think because I wasn't purchasing things that motivated them, that I lost a lot of interest. And people wanted to pull the trigger and wanted to get into real estate, but I didn't have anything that they wanted. I had 10 homes and I couldn't get anybody to spend $1. Our car crapped out. We bought a Rover. Everybody wanted to get in real estate, you know, bought a car and people wanted to get into real estate, buy houses, and they didn't. So, but what happened was the first big hard money we landed was a broker that moved here out of California and started a brokerage here, Oklahoma City. I was friends with her husband and told them what I was doing. They saw my numbers and she said that I want one of those. And that was my first real hard money deal with them. And once they did it, another buddy that trusted us and what was going on made an investment with us too. So we got our second one, and we're currently in the stages of.
So basically just kind of talking about what you're doing with your network of people has been really beneficial to you guys.
Yeah. And then just right outside that network. So people that know us and that had the money that kind of knew us through somebody are starting to open up now and starting to invest with us as well. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what you obviously have a very natural skill of networking. What are some helpful tips maybe to somebody who's more of an introvert that you'd give? Because we walked in the bank earlier today, and as soon as we walk in, I mean, he knows these people pretty well, obviously. He's in the bank quite often, and he yells at them saying, hey, get off your phone. And they all laugh. They're like, where's your baby at?
Yeah, normally I bring Harlow with me everywhere.
So you're a very personal guy.
Absolutely. People want to be remembered. People want to be remembered, and people like being remembered. And you know, when you meet people, there's always something that stands out. And if it's something big or small, it doesn't matter. They just want to be remembered. And if there's something else that lines up, just remember that. It's one of the easiest things in the world. I have over 500 something people in my phone that I don't talk to, but I can call right now and carry a conversation with them because the way I saved them in my phone was the relationship I had with them. So half of them might be people I sold furniture to, but there's something else about them in that saved that I know about them.
Right.
So they can call me 5 years from now. If they need me, I'm going to answer and say their name and how I know them.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I've done it. Facebook's kept me in touch with people.
Yeah.
I've always been talking to everybody I can and wanting to be everybody's best friend, you know?
Yeah.
But also just learning from everybody. And that's part of my success is learning from people I know. And now all those people I'm older than you know, they've made mistakes and they've found success in other areas of life. So we're using each other to keep growing and keep investing.
You're building a nice little community where everybody's kind of learning. Everybody's just learning as they go.
Exactly.
Failing forward. Well, you got anything to tell to the camera? Anything you want to let them know? You want to give anybody a shout out? I know you got some local businesses around here that you love to support. If you want to throw out their names, go for it.
I love to support all these people around Midtown, Tulsa, anywhere really. But for sure, right now, Burger Street just opened back up. Shout out to Burger Street over here. But the Midtown Tulsa area, I'm very passionate about. I was actually born here. I was born at 26th, 25th and Harvard-ish, 24th and Harvard. It used to be called Doctor's Hospital. I'm going to die in this neighborhood. If you want to sell your house and you live in this neighborhood, nobody will get you more money than me. And if you want to buy a home in this neighborhood, nobody will get you a house cheaper than me. I'm very passionate about what I do. I will be doing this for quite some time and I enjoy it. Other than that, dude, I'm just happy we could get this one up and going with the camera and get this going. I look forward to doing a few more.
Yeah. Hopefully Kyle's a great friend of mine. So he's most likely going to be a recurring character on the podcast. I hope.
Hopefully.
Man, you're just fun to talk to, fun to be around. Like, I always have a big smile on my face when I'm around you, and I really appreciate you coming on the podcast, man. And can't wait to do another one with you. Maybe next time we'll have a third guest on here.
Dude, let's do it.
So, well, if there's anything else you want to say to the camera, now's your time. If not, we'll go ahead and end it here.
That's it. The company is the Mesa Group. Right now, our websites are being built, so I'll have Andrew update you guys if you want to follow us or whatever.
I'll link some of his socials in the description.
Absolutely, but follow this guy. We're doing big things in Tulsa, Oklahoma. If you're an investor from out of state, I do a lot of money, exchange money deals. I'd love to help you out, save some tax money, invest in this state while the getting's good. It's going to be good for a while. So hope you guys chase your dreams. Hopefully this has motivated somebody to get into the real estate game. Don't be afraid to fail the test, because 10 fails and 1 pass is a pass. And after you get that 1 pass, you never have to take it again. So go out there, get it. It's a great tool to have in your pocket on the side, whether you're wanting to fully dive into real estate or you're wanting to just have something to keep have access to the market and watch it grow and learn and jump in it later. Don't be afraid to get into real estate. That's it.
Kyle, you said it so perfectly, and on that perfect note, we'll end it here. Well, thank you so much for
brother,
coming on the podcast, and we'll see you soon again, I'm sure.
All right, man.
All right, well, you have a good day, Kyle.
Absolutely. Get out here and run this stuff to Sand Springs.